Here's another great example of this, okay? After the forced sale of TikTok to U.S. owners have finalized, the Democrats' official TikTok account has had their uploads suppressed, going from millions of views per post to 0 in their latest short. This brings me to my first story of the day. The Amir-Israeli purchase of TikTok. And Democrats did this, okay? Democrats were the ones under the Biden leadership that that saw what was happening with Israel and saw that like younger generations were seeing exactly what Israel was doing, the atrocities, seeing it on TikTok, an algorithm that was previously not controlled by the United States of America, okay? And they were terrified of it. That was what allowed this forcible sale to be pushed through. It was because of Israel. Anyone that says it's not because of Israel is a fucking delusional liar. It was 100% because of Israel, okay? 100%. And they've openly said that it was for Israel. The politicians that pushed TikTok's sale away from the hands of the Chinese owners into the hands of an American owner openly said that it was for Israel that they were making this push. Okay? Straight up. They said it over and over and over again. And the Democrats pushed for it as well. And now they're eating that dick all over again. We're all eating that dick all over again. Good job, guys. Good job. For the last couple of days, there is no news on TikTok. Okay? If you do any sort of fucking news posting on TikTok, you get 0 views. And they keep saying it's because of a power outage. You know what it is, ironically enough, okay? One of my editors, let's say, lives in another country, okay? A country that has, and I know this from my own personal experiences with, Turkey as well. In some of these other countries where there is no free speech or none of this, none of these sorts of things, sometimes you'll experience blackouts, okay? Sometimes you experience blackouts on social media. And those blackouts on social media are not like because there's some sort of like back end problem. Those those blackouts are happening because they want to fucking, fix the algorithm. Okay? And that's exactly what they're doing. And here it is, by the way. If you want to understand why this is happening, let's hear it. TikTok's new CEO, Adam Presser, told the World Jewish Conference that the platform bans criticisms of Zionists. He said that while users can declare they are proud Zionists, describing someone as a Zionist in a derogatory way is classified as hate speech. Dude, it's so funny. Like there's so many conferences like this. It's like World Jewish Conference, International Jewry Conference, like all of this stuff, like where these guys will get together and just be like, we are doing this for Israel. Okay, you understand me? We love Israel. We want to make sure that everybody fucking thinks twice before they say anything about Israel. If you say something wrong about Israel, we're working with Palantir to identify exactly where your home address is, and we will be sending drone strikes to your fucking home. Every fucking time. Every other week, there's another Jewish conference where Miriam Adelson is being asked, like, how many billions of dollars would it take for you to get Donald Trump to actually nuke Iran? And she's like, oh, I don't want to say publicly. What the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is just bad for OPSEC in general. They're just dabbing on us. They're dabbing on us.
Designate the use of the term Zionist as a proxy for a protected attribute as hate speech. So if somebody were to use Zionist, of course you can use it in the sense of you're a proud Zionist. But if you're using it in the context of degrading somebody, calling somebody a Zionist as a
yeah, this is what the ADL did to Twitch too, by the way. That's why you can't call someone like a insert term Zionist bleep. You can't say that. Okay. Is literally a banned term now on fucking Twitch as well. Shouts out to the ADL for that one. Apartheid Defense League.
Then that gets designated as hate speech to be moderated against. Over the course of 2024, we tripled the amount of accounts that we were banning for hateful activity. We also have, I think, over 24 Jewish organizations that are constantly feeding us intelligence and information when they spot violative trends. There is no finish line. There's no finish line to moderating hate speech.
Yeah, hate speech is, by the way, anti-Israel speech. That's the only type of hate speech they care about. That's it. Oh my God. Oh my fucking Lord. Holy shit.
Trying to keep the platform safe. There's no such thing as an end game.
So the agreement for TikTok to sell its U.S. business to GOP-backed investors was finalized a few days ago, and now you can't mention Epstein Lamau. Wait, what? No, I don't know if this is real or not. But as I said back then, when TikTok was being sold, I would much rather have the Chinese government. I would much rather give the Chinese government access to all of these like fucking personal points of data, which, by the way, TikTok under the American surveillance apparatus now has access to. I would much rather give all that information to the Chinese government than to have the Israeli government have that, okay? I would rather give that to China than to give it to Israel and to give it to the United States of America. 100%. 100%. They're suppressing everything. These guys that keep saying, oh, Chinese this, Chinese that, Chinese surveillance, Chinese censorship, all of a sudden, they're showing us what Chinese censorship actually is supposed to look like. Here's friend of the show, Phineas. The fact that this video has 0 views and TikTok is completely silencing this is insane. It's terrifying and everyone should be very scared. I said, so glad our American billionaires bought TikTok to do pro-Trump and pro-Israel propaganda and we no longer have to experience Chinese-style censorship. Of course, if you ask TikTok, they're claiming it's because of a power outage. Bullshit. Bullshit. This conference clip is literally this.
Haben Sie mich gerade als Nazi?
Yeah, I know. That's I mean, there's more to it though. Like, dude, people who are pro-Israel, like Zionists in the United States of America and all around the globe, have basically looked at all of the anti-Semitic conspiracies and were like, let's use this as a checkpoint of what we can do and what we should do, okay? It is virtually impossible to fucking talk to the average person nowadays about how, like, anti-Zionism is separate from anti-Semitism and that Israel is actually doing this as a fascist state and that they're masquerading as though they're doing this for Judaism. It's fucking bullshit. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. I'm like the last fucking soldier standing on the hill fighting this battle where most people are just totally past that point where they're like, yeah, okay, dude. Okay, buddy. Sure, bud. Yeah, I'm sure. It's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. Like, dude. Like, these guys they're basically, like, they are openly purchasing major newspapers and major social media platforms and trope maxing, okay? We have a secret network of top law firms working with us. Is definitely going to help reduce anti-Semitism. Thanks for your good work, anti-Semitism spreader-in-chief Jonathan Greenblatt, says Zachary Foster. ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt says every anti-Semitism complaint filed with the ADL is now immediately scanned by their AI systems to see if there's a litigation opportunity they can forward to their network of 50,000 lawyers. Last year, in partnership with Gibson Dunn, we created something called the Legal Action Network, Greenblatt tells a gathering at a synagogue in LA. We've assembled 50 of the top law firms in the U.S. to create a pro bono coterie of literally 50,000 lawyers. And so now when you enter in an incident ADL, it instantly gets evaluated by our AI systems, their litigation opportunity, and we feed it to the lawyers to evaluate it and to find someone to take the case. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing at this point? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, apparently they are actually censoring the Epstein thing. Yeah, it is real. Days after U.S. took over majority ownership of TikTok, the word Epstein has been censored. As I said, when this ban was first being pushed through, Americans have far more fear from U.S. government controlling TikTok than the CCP for the simple reason that all governments have far more interest in censoring what their own citizens see than a foreign population. That's it. I'm still seeing everything, but I've noticed all the content has no impression anymore, even mainstream news. My feed was showing me all old stuff yesterday, but today I see all my old political content, but apparently no one else is. Americans sleepwalked into a fascist regime. I mean, yeah. But this is why I criticize the fucking Democrats, because they have no capacity for foresight, where they just like literally operate at the mercy of capital, just as the Republicans do. Like, this is it. This is my point. If you're fucking mad about this TikTok algorithm change, or if you're mad about TikTok like now being in the hands of a psychotic Zionist, ultra Zionist billionaire, okay, who purchased it specifically so he could do this, then remember, the Democrats literally were the ones who initiated the process of this sale. They were the ones who voted for it. They were the ones who fucking promoted it alongside the Republicans, but they should have not done that, okay? That's my fucking point. Just as Democrats are the ones who voted to increase funding to ICE over and over again. If you're on that fuck ICE principled stance right now, as I have been for fucking decades, then of course you're going to criticize the Democrats when they're saying, no, actually we're pro ICE now. What the fuck? I hate this shit. I hate being punished by the dumbest motherfuckers on the internet for having a consistent position that they now arrived at yesterday. And it's not even a consistent position because I know for a fucking fact that if Democrats were in charge and ICE was still doing fucking mass kidnapping operations, maybe not to the same extent and same severity as Donald Trump is, because he's making a show of it, because he's specifically using ICE as a domineering force to like harm blue cities. But if they were still deporting the same number of people, right? But they were doing it more quietly and more process focused, a lot of fucking liberals would be fine with it. It's crazy. Taylor Lorenz is absolutely correct. Reminder that it was the Biden and the Democrats who enacted the TikTok ban because pro-Palestine speech on the app. Biden knew that Trump would install friendly billionaires to take it over, and Biden went through with the ban and defended it in court anyway. We're not saying this because we want you to stop fucking voting for the Democrats, okay? I'm not saying this because I want you to stop voting for the Democrats because I'm like a secret Republican. I'm saying this because we need the Democrats to actually be a an opposition party, a counter messaging party, okay? This is not about being right, okay? I don't give a shit about that. Anyway, this is what Phineas said as well that got suppressed. Let's see.
In the United States through truly a countless number of school shootings. School shooting after school shooting after school shooting after school shooting. And the conservative argument that allows school shootings to continue has always basically boiled down to we have to protect the Second Amendment. We have to allow people to carry weapons. We have to allow people to own and carry weapons legally. And, oh, some little kids die. That's okay with them. Unfucking believable argument, by the way. Every argument I've seen for why Alex Preddy's death was justified yesterday is like, well, he had a gun. Shut the fuck up! You've spent 30 years straight telling us that children have...
I don't know how much of a fan Phineas was, though. He regularly reposts Hasan fan content on his TikTok legend. Yeah, no, he's my goat. I mean, we also talk all the time as well. There is Hasan made an app for ICE to use. Yeah, dude. No, I did. Yeah, I still work for ICE. I work for the Department of Homeland Security, and I also work for Immigration Customs Enforcement. Yeah, I'm a programmer. God, Redditors are so stupid. I mean, who cares? Yeah, sure. That's true. It's real. Yes. I'm a programmer. I know how to code. I lied to you guys about my incompetence with, all matters of technology.
So that we're allowed to legally carry weapons everywhere in the United States. This guy was being beaten to a pulp on the ground. He didn't draw his weapon. He had a weapon on him legally. And they shot the fuck out of him and killed him. So shut the fuck up. We have been telling you for 30 years we don't think people should be allowed to have as many guns as they're allowed to have or carry them legally around the United States. We've been telling you that for years. You've told us that it has to happen. It has to continue. Children continue to have to die to allow us to carry guns around. So shut the fuck up.
Good day to revive this peace. Conservatives once rallied against federal agents, now applaud them. This makes sense when you realize that an essential fact of the U.S., right? The guns were never for the government. They were for the slaves and natives. They only became for the government when said government did anything to marginally improve the status of the slaves and natives. This is why there's a contradiction in name only. It's a category error. Go read Ron Paul's newsletter from the 1990s and their list of government intrusion and a list of things that could be perceived as helping minorities. It's dripping with Turner Diary, paranoia, and anti-Semitism.